What's going on, everybody? Good morning. It is Thursday morning on my way to work. For anybody wondering why I'm 9 times out of 10 in a vehicle, I have 2 kids and I work. The time I have to talk is to work and from work. At home, I like to spend time with my kids. I have other things to do. That's why I'm in a vehicle most of the time. Plus, driving, it just helps me think. So, if anybody's wondering, that's why. But this morning, I want to talk about something that I found as a kid. When I was 8 years old, about anywhere from 7 to 9, somewhere around that time frame, we were playing in the neighbor's yard up at my parents' house where I grew up at. And we were playing, and I tripped over this thing sticking up out of the ground. How I tripped over it, I have no idea, but I tripped over it. And we dug it out of the ground, and then there was this perfect little spear, perfect little ball. I thought it was a rock. We played with it, we rolled it, down the hill. I carried it home, I dropped it a few times. And it ended up being a live cannonball from the Civil War. I had I was somewhere about that time, 8 years old or so. I had no idea what it was. And they said it was a cannonball. Oh, cool. In my mind, hey, cool. The reality of how dangerous that was, it was an active live cannonball that hasn't yet to go off. It wasn't drilled out or anything. We ended up doing that later, just because how dangerous it was. But that was sitting right next to the neighbor's house in the woods a little bit, just a little bit in the ground. Where I grew up at, there used to be staging areas in the Civil War, and you read some history about it. It's kind of cool. But that was just one small instance of a random 8-year-old boy in the middle of, kind of populated, not really, country-ish scenario. The Civil War was fought a lot on the East Coast. And I'm just one person finding one. And you hear stories of other countries, people unfortunately stepping on landmines from, past wars and everything. And I just read a story last night. It was in Japan. It was on I think it was a tarmac of a runway, something like that. A mine or a bomb exploded, like a 500-pound bomb exploded. And luckily it didn't hurt anybody. It didn't kill anybody. There wasn't really a whole lot of damage. There's no planes around. But it blew up. From what it blew up, I don't know. I didn't, see on there why it blew up or what caused it to blow up. But that's one of those things that you have to, kind of hard to be aware of them, since if you don't know if they're buried. I knew a guy that was he was in Iraq or Afghanistan, whatever. Again, I don't know, I was probably 11 or 12 when this happened. And I think he was burning trash, and some old landmine went off. I guess it was burning on top of it or whatever, and it went off and exploded. And it messed his whole leg up, real bad. I think he kept his leg, but he went, through many surgeries to fix it. It was really horrific. And that kind of stuff over in the Middle East, over in other countries, happens quite frequently, apparently, from my understanding. Not so much in America, because a lot of big wars didn't happen here. But what I'm getting at is, because things are ramping up, because there are so many illegals here, there's so many people that want to do harm here, and the domestic people too that want to see America fall. Don't think for a second that they won't plant bad things. What was that marathon runner? What did he use? Like an Instapot or something? A pressure cooker? but not luckily, but that was, visible. Imagine if these people made things like that and just planted them throughout cities. Who says they didn't? Who says they hasn't so far? When you think about this October surprise and what it could be the whole world. It could be World War III. It could be an invasion. It could be whatever. The power going out, bank runs. That's something to keep in mind. It's something to pay attention to. Here's something kind of not really relevant, but sort of. It kind of ties into it. Again, when I was a kid, we found it was like a 6-pack of beer bottles. Nobody even drank them. They were just sitting in the woods, kind of off behind somebody else's house. I don't know if it was the teenagers from that house were hiding them so they could drink them, whatever. We found them. Again, this is when I was 9 or 10 or so. But we figured out if we shook them, we could throw them and they would explode when they hit trees and stuff. And that was cool for us. Nothing to do over in country living. So pick them up, throw them, threw a couple of them. I picked up one and I shook it up. And as soon as I started shaking it, it exploded in my hand. And I had to get right in the crease right here. I had to get a bunch of stitches because it exploded in my hand. I don't know if it was because it was hot and the pressure or whatever. The fact is it blew up in my hand. Because I touched something that I didn't know what it was. I didn't think about it like that. The point of that is if you see something laying on the ground that looks weird, that looks suspicious, that looks like, hey, that probably shouldn't be there, don't touch it. Don't go near it. Call the authorities, or if that is down, just don't go near it. What is it? The curiosity killed the cat kind of thing. Like, these things, there's reasons that convoys over in other countries like drive around stuff, that don't go near stuff, that lay this dead cat laying on the side of the road, something like that. Just anything, a cell phone sitting on the side of the road. We see what cell phones have done. Not cell phones, walkie-talkies. Just this past month, we see what radios do this past month. It's not a video game with loot boxes. If something's sitting on the side of the road or something sitting on the sidewalk that looks too good to be true, most of the time, it's too good to be true. And my suggestion for y'all is to don't go near that stuff. Stay away from it. Learn from other people's mistakes. That cannonball that I picked up, that could have been the end of me. And the fact that we were rolling it around and I dropped it a few times and all this stuff, like, I got really lucky. It was a live, active cannonball that has not gone off. Things happen, unfortunately, to other people where they're not so lucky. And, smaller things, too, that cause a hell of a lot more damage. With all the turmoil in this country right now, like I said, from people that have invaded this country that want to do harm, that want to see people suffer, to the citizens of this country that want to see harm to this country. There's so many people here in the country already that want to see it fall, that want to see the destruction of America. There are already thousands of them, if not hundreds of thousands of people in America already that want to see it go away. And if you think for a second that they won't play, dirty, if they won't put explosives around, especially in heavily populated areas, especially with holidays coming up. Some YouTuber was talking about the 7th being like, what is it, like the year anniversary of an attack in Israel, and then the 8th being a Muhammad's birthday or something like that. I don't really keep up with him, but things like that, or Thanksgiving, or Halloween, Christmas, New Year's. There's a lot of holidays. There's a lot of big events coming up in America right now. And what I would do is stay away from those. I would stay away from big crowds right now. And the election's coming up, things like that. There are really big events happening just within the next few months. Stay away from crowds. Carry your bag wherever you go. Carry your sidearm wherever you go. If you see something that doesn't look right, whether it is just a bad person doing bad things or some kind of espionage, or for some kind of, even if you see somebody that works for the government doing something shady, like, take pictures of it, get proof of what's going on. We need to stop these things. We need to be aware and pay attention what's going on. Everybody's focused on the strike right now. It's a huge deal. Everybody's focused on the hurricane. It's a huge deal. Everybody's focused on those things. And then in the Middle East, they're focused over there. And then in Alaska with the warships up there, they're focused up there. There's a lot of things to focus on right now, and everybody is looking all around. But that distracts you from looking at within your own community, especially, like I said, if you live in a big town or a big community, a big city. I would avoid those as much as possible. Do not go into big crowds for the rest of the year if you can. Just keep your eyes peeled everywhere you go. In my job, I'm used to, I look left, right all day. I'm looking, go. But you can be like that and still miss things, especially when you're not looking for them. You're so used to having a comfortable life in America. Threats of that nature are different than things that I'm used to looking for. I'm used to looking for kids running out into the road, dogs running out to the road, deers running out to the road, where dogs are when I'm driving, what time school buses go down certain roads, what times the garbage man comes down certain road. Like, I'm used to, like, logistically trying to add all this stuff up real quick and, real time. But things I'm not used to looking for are pieces of trash on the side of the road that maybe I should avoid, or a suitcase sitting somewhere that I should avoid, or a pressure cooker sitting somewhere, or somebody just acting kind of shady like that. I keep my eyes open for strange people, especially when kids are around. I make sure I'm keeping my eyes open constantly, that there's no people, like, casing houses and looking at kids and stuff, and I'll report that shit in a hot second. I don't care. It could be nothing. It could be, the neighbor, the neighbor just watching them, but I would rather be safe than sorry. But when I see a kid being followed or watched or something, I'll confront that person, or I'll make sure that kid's safe, just because there are a bunch of weird people in this country. But a bigger threat right now, again, I don't think a whole lot of people are thinking about it. I would expect some kind of event to happen here soon. What it is, I don't think anybody knows except for the people planning it. But you have to be aware of everything right now. You have to keep your eyes open and look at everything and every possibility and every scenario in this country. Keep medical stuff on you at all times, just in case. The reason that I have Narcan in my emergency bag in my medical kit is a couple years ago, there was a guy, and he was ODing in his car, and I was at work, and I couldn't, it was his choice to do those drugs, but if I could have helped him, I would, and I couldn't. All we could do was, get the medics there. But I have it now, so if I catch anybody doing that again, I could potentially save their life. And it cost me like $50, something like that. But the point is to be prepared for these things. There are so many possibilities, so many scenarios that could happen right now, and you don't know what's going to happen. So the point is just be prepared, I guess. Keep your eyes open. Make sure things that are going on around you, you know what is going on at all times as much as possible, and just stay safe. Until then, I will talk to y'all later. Have a fantastic day.